Ooh.
Got my. Oh, I brought a special. I don't know if you guys saw the image I posted to Facebook, promoting, letting people know we were going to be going live. But it was 2 dogs and a little like tiki bar on the beach.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I thought I have just the perfect shirt to wear. Anyone guess what it is based on?
Oh, I do know. I know which one it is.
Dr. Dunbar's Last Woofs.
Let's see what.
My hair.
Ta-da!
I designed it. My design. That's me. Reading
Reading about skiing.
Yes. Oh, it says skiing.
Sitting.
You don't usually drink a lot of cocktails.
You have a martini?
Up. No, you don't. You don't usually do that.
No. Is that a martini glass? I can't tell.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's not like.
Look who's here!
Oh,
how are you doing, you star?
Our special surprise guest makes her appearance very early. Not going to keep the people waiting.
I thought she was in. Thought she was in the green room.
Oh, Eve, we miss you.
Say puppy.
Hi, Eve. Can I have a kiss?
Eve. Talk to her, puppy.
Puppy. Oh, yes. Oh, hey. Yes. It's Uncle Jamie. Oh, yes. Do you remember?
People are watching and thinking, don't they have something better to do?
No, we don't.
What's better than cuddling Eve? I was watching some of the Essential Puppy Course videos today because we're pulling some out for this some video segments out for the online whatever that is symposium.
Summit.
And Summit, I couldn't think of the word. And she was watching. She was sitting with me, and we were saying, "Puppy come, Eve come," and she was super excited. And then she started barking out. She was in the other room. It actually created for downtime while I started watching, but I kept saying, "Eve, come! Eve, come!" And she started barking like, "Hey, let me out! I can't come!" Got her put in my lap, and she reacted every time for a long time, and then eventually looked at the screen and saw a puppy on there and was like,
Yeah, it's funny the dogs here. I have to wear earphones when I edit because whenever a dog barks on screen, the dogs go ballistic, but they don't bark at real dogs. It's just, TV dogs.
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah. Look, Sarah and Kendra are joining us so far.
Oh, yeah?
Hi, Kendra. Hi, Sarah.
Oh, I got to put on glasses.
Happy Friday.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Kendra.
Hello, Kendra.
And in Australia. Now it's finally a decent time for Australia.
Sydney, Australia, mate. That's good.
Semi-decent, right?
Have a schooner.
Yeah, well, I don't know what time it is in Australia, but it's not 4 a.m. like it was last time. Hello, Leah and Sherry. Oh, good morning from Tasmania. Good morning. See, so it's early.
Australia, Tasmania would be 11. Oh, no. Australia,
Saturday there,
9 p.m.
Other weekend.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m. tomorrow. So
no, morning.
Saturday. 9 a.m. I mean, 9 a.m.
Good morning from Tasmania. Good morning.
9 a.m. Yeah.
Yes. But Saturday, right? Anyway.
Saturday.
So
it's a difficult concept.
Reading Unleash with Strangers. We're getting questions already. Midnight in Europe now. Yeah, it's kind of late for the European crowd.
I was thinking today I was going to have a little competition in the summit. And I thought, well, it's the winner who first tells us. But I thought, we better use our timestamp. Otherwise, people in Australia, they have a 16-hour advantage on everyone else. They could be sleeping on their computers then. Okay, push. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to calibrate. We'd have to synchronize watches.
Well, the reason for the little competition is, as I explained to Jamie, I don't have any of my, like Quark for typesetting. So I was making this little movie of kind of like PowerPoint, but I wanted to make changes on my, graphics, but I couldn't because they're PDFs now, and Jamie has the programs to change that. I don't have Quark. So I thought there are 2 errors. So we'll have a competition. First person to find the errors. Then I needn't bother
Eddie.
checking. Yeah.
Hi, Ed.
Okay, Dad, if you...
Ed's there from Austin, Ian.
Oh, good Lord.
Hey, Eddie.
Dad, if you're going to have a competition and you're looking for a prize, might I suggest these lovely Dunbar Academy beer koozies?
They are very nice. No.
Although
you are
maybe limited to U.S. applicants only, because I feel like the international shipping would be...
Oh, don't be a cheapskate. Honestly, Jamie.
We need to find a production.
How much do you think would
nickel
cost
and
to ship
dime
them?
every good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. But no beer included.
No beer included. No, that would be.
Eve, what's up? Eve finds this boring. She's not into this happy hour.
Well,
there's not enough Eve action.
Let's see. We do have one question. How about polite greetings, off leash and on leash? Are we doing that kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah, we'll take a couple questions.
On leash and off like polite greetings. With strangers. With strangers.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
Who wants to take that? Kelly, you want to start?
Okay.
I've got tremendous impulse control, Kelly. Have you noticed my impulse control today? I wasn't jumping in and waffling.
Very quiet. Yes.
I hate myself every time I do it. I don't like interrupting.
Do you have a doggy beer for Eve?
Yeah,
Eve is a lush. Eve will actually steal a real drink if given the opportunity. Not that I give her the opportunity, but you got to watch your drinks around her. She likes to drink beer and coffee and wine.
Oh.
Fits right in with the Dunbars.
Red wine. Yeah.
She will if given the opportunity, or if she can sneak the opportunity. Okay, so Sarah said she wants to hear me. Okay, woohoo. So anyway, politely.
Sarah said what? I want to hear Kelly. Oh, boo. Yeah.
Hey, no
Off
booing.
you go, Kelly.
Booing. So okay, so
I'm gonna hide you. I will hide you.
Have you finished it? Yeah, try it.
Done.
Can you bring him back?
I can, but should I? Well, let's poll the audience. Who thinks we should bring Ian back? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Can he even see us?
Yeah, I think he can see us. He can see us and hear us.
That's funny.
All right. Well, he's coming back in 3, 2, 1. Ho!
Okay.
Oh no, he's frozen.
No, not.
Now you're not in the middle though.
Right, I'm listening. I'm listening to you, Kelly.
All
we
right,
don't want to offend
on-leash and off-leash greeting. Obviously, if possible, you want to start practicing with this as an on-leash behavior because you have control over your dog's access to the stranger to greet. I'm assuming that your puppy or dog, I'm guessing this is an adolescent dog, maybe it's an older puppy, who is exuberant and friendly. So if that's the case, then you have a dog that's going up and wiggling and jumping and licking and pawing and all of that on people. The good news is your dog is friendly and pro-social, and that's a nice thing. But that doesn't mean that they can just do whatever the heck they want when they come up to greet people. So what I would do is start on leash with people that you do know, because part of what is exciting about strangers is the novelty, right? And adding a new behavior to a novel situation in random cold trials where you're just it's one-offs because you happen to meet somebody is pretty hard. So you want to make sure to test and see how well your dog and puppy can greet people they do know when they're on leash and off leash first, where you're controlling the situation. So you want to get a lot of trials and practice in here as for sit as the default greeting when somebody says hello to your dog. And you can and a hello to your puppy can be or dog can be a simple, oh hi puppy, can I say hi? You know, people do that. They make a lot of eye contact. Or it can be, oh, what are you doing, my puppy? Oh, look at that beautiful puppy. Oh, hi. Oh, that's okay. I love dogs. You know, and you have to work your way up that hierarchy of excitement, right? So. Is it somebody coming to the door? You know, that's easy to control and to practice. We can get into that in a minute. I know Ian has things to say about all of this. But also, you know, are you just on a walk? Are you just having somebody walk up and back? And in the Open Paw program for shelter dogs, We practice this a lot because dogs are on leash almost all the time or in a pen loose, but always greeting strangers. Often they're over aroused, overly aroused. They're very excited. They're very happy. They maybe haven't had enough energy taken out of them yet, and they jump. They jump a lot. Mostly these are adolescent dogs. So we put them on leash or we tether them to something on leash, and we kind of have that line in the sand in front where where the leash ends, and we'll practice approaching. Well, over and over. We actually do this in adolescent and adult dog classes too with Sirius, where everybody practices at the beginning of class, and in some cases it doesn't happen every round. I used to do it, where you have to do it when the dog's excited, right? So you have the dog stationed, you approach. If they get, if they have your criteria, it can be 4 on the floor, it can be sitting. I would say 4 on the floor at first and work up to sitting. As soon as they start getting tap dancey or leaping, you turn and walk away, and they lose access to you and access to the greeting. And that's for on leash. And for off leash, it's a little harder because they can continue to pull up in a friendly way, maul and greet the person, and anything that person is going to do to stop that jumping, other than really frightening or hurting them, is going to be potentially reinforcing. And I'm not suggesting that you frighten or hurt the dog, but any little pushes, patting, grabbing their collars, holding them down, we'll kind of petting them. It's all still reinforcement, right? So the idea is to remove the opportunity for reinforcement when you don't like the behavior, and you do have to practice this before you go in situ, in your home, out on the street, with people they know, with random strangers. As soon as someone makes eye contact with you or your dog and you know that it's coming, can I say hi? Say yes, but will you please help me with training? We're practicing polite greeting. Please just only say hello when they're sitting, and maybe even help them with a little bit of a food reward. That was a really long-winded answer. It's Friday. Anyway, I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's a lot of good information. Very, very comprehensive though for a happy hour answer.
Yeah. May I say 2 little things?
Yeah, you can throw 2 cents.
Anything you want.
I would do everything you said, plus 2 little exercises to accelerate the process. One is concentric circles, although in this case, so you have your friends first, then strangers come, they walk around in a circle, and you go the other way. So every circle you meet all the people. The first circle you do is comedy. The second one's pretty good. The third one's next to perfect.
Oh, comedy. I thought you were telling people to do comedy. And they push the dog.
Well, it always is. But then off leash, I'd spread all the people out. So first your friends, but then your group of strangers you pulled in, and practice go-tos. So you say to the dog, go to Jamie. Then Jamie calls, and he knows it's got to be come and sit. And then Jamie sends him to someone else, and so on. So the dog is practicing the greeting because it's actually a recall by that person. And you troubleshoot it. So you've got to greet each person a good half a dozen times, whether you're doing the circle thing or the go-tos.
So repetition, but also you're talking about a drill here, which ideally you are doing some kind of actual training practice in a drill format of some sort versus just letting this happen randomly when it happens. Of course, you will eventually use this, in cold trials out in the real world.
Yeah.
But you have to.
Because it doesn't show. Oh yeah. So this is where we practice. There's a circle out there. Can you see the driveway? So you have all the veterans and their assistance dogs go in one direction, and then people go in the other. And then we split the people with dogs into 2 groups, and one group goes clockwise and the other group counterclockwise, so you can practice your dog greeting a person with a dog. And again, it's the first lap.
That's higher level.
Yeah, the first lap is hilarious. I mean, it's totally out of control. But after 3 or 4 laps, they've got it. And they see another person and dog approaching, and the dog sits automatically.
Yes, approach and sit, Sarah. That's the idea. Or initially, again, 4 on the floor. If you have a super hyper jumpy type of dog, you don't go for the sit. You go for a moment of calm, and then as soon as they get too wiggly or start to leap up, you can have that person do a quick turn away. I don't like to just turn the back on the dog. It doesn't really help. They can still mind and push you, and it's rude. I'd rather the reinforcement just disappears, goes away, and they realize what brings the person and the greeting and the friendliness to them is their calm behavior, that they can invite somebody to come pet them by sitting eventually, but first just by standing still for a minute. And then yes, you eventually can add the cue in, and then it can become automatic. Then you start making it an automatic sit for the cue for in like an open paw shelter dog. The cue for sitting would be somebody going, "Oh, hi, puppy," good to see you, getting in their face, and they should learn.
Why have I frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you have not a great connection, and you're moving too much.
No, I wasn't moving too much. I sat down absolutely still, but in a different position than the one I'm in. So I've got two pictures of me, and they're both frozen, but it didn't work.
You're not frozen for me.
Yeah, from my end, you look great.
On the right. Yeah, I'm on the right email.
Oh yes, now you seem to have frozen a little bit. Oh, well, now you're gone entirely.
Did he leave? Is he gone? Did you disappear him again?
I didn't. That wasn't me. I swear. But hopefully he'll be back.
And then default behavior. Bryony, I see you there too. Oh, look at all these fun people. It's late.
I feel like my one half penny I'd add to Sarah's question is, seems like really you don't want to do off-leash greetings with strangers until you feel like you can do off-leash greetings with familiar people well. You kind of want to avoid that situation where possible.
No, true, but I think if you're at a park or something, it could happen, right? Or a beach or something, I imagine, or on a walk in the woods, it can happen. Imagine that's probably what is happening. Kendra's asking about clipping dogs' nails when they're terrified. There's so many dogs terrified of having their nails done right now. I think husbandry really kind of went out the window in the pandemic. And I mean, not at home husbandry, but dogs didn't go for regular groomings. They didn't get to their vet regularly.
He's back.
People were, I don't know, stressed and busy. Hey, there he is.
Welcome back. Oh,
Ian,
no.
Is he there?
I think he's feigning freezing. It's very subtle distinction.
Did you disconnect me?
No, I didn't. You disconnected yourself. But yeah, I think
Ian is famous for his technological difficulties. What happened that one time when something happened to your computer, or you lost some files, or something happened? This was like over a decade ago, I'd say, and the people said that's impossible.
Yeah, our computer doctor
said
this can't happen. It did.
He made a wormhole open up to another dimension, and the computer fell
like, that's completely impossible. And then they looked at your computer and like, holy cow, that happened. That's like.
Hey, look, Jamie's frozen now. You see him, Kelly? Oh.
No, he was just staying still.
I seem to be moving to me. Okay, that's good. That's good, Kelly. That's convincing.
What? What did she do?
Kelly's fake frozen.
Oh, yeah. That's childish, Kelly.
So I have some exciting news to share.
You do?
This morning I was working on uploading more of the Essential Puppy Training course, and I've successfully completed stage 4. So 4 out of 5 stages are up. And I can tell you that those 4 stages represent, do you want to guess how many hours of footage that represents?
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
It's a lot.
Now, obviously, you don't have to watch all of it. You can watch the relevant stuff. And it's broken up into 5 developmental stages. So this is potentially, 2, 3, 4 months worth of viewing. So, it's a lot of time.
You're going to sleep.
And for me, the best thing about it was, it's so funny how it reverses things, that these two are who are responsible for the Essential Puppy Training course.
Well,
Jamie behind the scenes, and in the scenes too. And Kelly did it all. I did nothing.
That's not true at all.
What do you mean? I didn't do anything.
Eve did a lot too.
We referred constantly while creating the syllabus to, of course, before you get your puppy.
Yes. Well,
after you get your puppy, and your many other writings, videos, and all of the information you transfer.
you know, that's stuff from the Pleistocene. I mean, we want it now fresh, dynamic, and all new, which it is. It's very exciting.
Well, we wanted it in video. We wanted your ideas and the integrity of the Serious Puppy Training School to be put into a video format that everybody could watch in little digestible bites, right?
I'll tell you a secret. You know, we're planning the summit. Well, Isaac, who's planning the summit, has just got a French bulldog. So I have spent lengths with him explaining what to do in the first 3 days. And of course, he's not followed my advice. But then he said, but Kelly, I watched some of the videos Kelly sent in. That's really good advice. He takes it slowly, bit by bit, you know. And I thought, oh my word.
But it's taken all of us, right? Because, you designed a lot of the coursework, obviously. And, some of it's been tweaked here and there over the years. But, this is largely your coursework. And I have been doing it practically for too long to even mention right now. And Jamie is really good at doing and breaking things down. Both you and I can be a bit long-winded. And Jamie is pretty good at making things more distilled.
He's certainly not long-winded. To the point, cut to the chase. And I'm off the clock now. Jamie's good at managing his time too, which I'm not very good at.
But to go back to Kendra's question, this is an example of one of the things where, about the cutting dog's nails and, helping a dog that's terrified. This is part of the reason this course ended up being so long, is when we're doing, nail trimming, we didn't just do one video. It's a developmental thing where the first video is the first time Eve ever saw nail clippers. And we wanted to be super gentle and take it really easy. I think you just let her sniff them. Maybe you did like click, click in front of her face to get used to the sound. Maybe you gently tapped one nail and that was it for the first session.
Yeah, it's just going back, right? Yeah, I mean, going back to the beginning. I mean, because what Kendra's talking about, these are older dogs, right? Right. And maybe they need their nails clipped.
The protocol is similar, that you introduce it very slowly with lots of treats.
The protocol is identical. It's just it's going to take 10 times the time now. Right. If we'd done it when they were neonates, with little soft claws, wouldn't have the problem. But water under the bridge. Miranda just takes longer.
She's had success with a scratch pad for nails. I mean, I've done that with cats, obviously. What kind of scratch pad do you use for dogs that works on their nails? I mean, my Malinois have such friggin' thick nails, thick black nails, and I hate cutting them. Although dremeling, to me, I know some people like a Dremel, and if you get your puppy used to that early on, or take a lot of time with your adult dog, I think it's a nice way because there's less room for error. But it takes so much longer, and it smells funny, and it feels funny, and it sounds funny. I personally still like to just get them used to clipping and doing it quickly. But a scratch pad would be cool.
Are you thinking it's like
sandpaper? Would it be? I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh. Well, you could employ running on a hard surface,
And then back paws. You gotta teach them to kick. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. A new challenge. Who wants to scratch pad? Or Miranda can show us, but a scratch pad train their dog. Although really, it is the front feet that get long. Oh, well, look, I think Brian says, before and after you get your puppy were the first dog training books that she ever read, and she is now a brilliant trainer, successful and brilliant trainer. And wow, that was, how long were those? Those were 20 years ago, weren't they?
Yes. Hey, Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline.
And here we go.
Nail files, sandpaper. Yeah.
I think let's go back to first principles and think it's like horses in stables. What aren't they doing? So why do they have bad hooves and bad stomachs? Well, what aren't dogs doing? In the wild, they don't have the nails clipped, right? So what are they doing that's different? Oh, they are running a lot on rough surfaces. I would recommend that. I was just going to say, like jogging around this circle, will get your nails down bit by bit each day.
So I went to the website, and it does essentially look like an enormous nail file that's like the size of a 6-inch by 18-inch board.
Yeah, and then you let the dog, there's a big vertical post by it, so the dog pees, and then he will scratch, after peeing.
And it's a Mastiff, yeah. Interesting, Dane Mastiff. Interesting. We'll have to look that up. Jamie, can you grab that? So maybe we can grab that link for us. Yeah. Oh, look at Judy says she does a lot of fostering with babies, with mamas and their babies, and she has. I get 8 weeks to train these newborns. Will this course help me? It will. But Ian, would you like to talk about people who foster puppies? And can you see that, Ian?
Oh, yes. 8 weeks to train these newborns. Will it? Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll see a couple of videos and literally your mouth will drop open and you'll think, I don't believe this.
You're talking about the summit now, right?
I'm talking about the summit, yeah.
So that's a different thing, which we haven't really promoted yet, but it's going to be at the end of January. We're hosting a dog trainer summit, and a big part of that, one of the trainers is doing a lot of early puppyhood, exposure, desensitization training, right?
Yeah, I mean, the same information is in the Essential Puppy course, because I've seen it. With Kelly presenting, and that's it. You cannot socialize neonates and young puppies too much. You can't expose them to too much. They don't get as stressful, and in just a couple of weeks exposure, you can now have kids screaming, running around, creating noise, any kind of substrate on the floor, and the puppies are absolutely unfazed. So it really is a sensitive developmental time window. And I think if you ask me, what is the biggest crime committed with dogs? I would say it's missing the first 8 weeks of life and exposing them to one family or a middle-aged woman and her best friend in a kennel or one living room. And people get duped, you see. They say, but the puppy was so confident. Yeah, at home that he knows well with you, with the family. So loads of people coming in, picking up the puppy. It can be done completely medically safely, but you can't expose them too much. And I think, with Kelly's videos in the Essential Puppy class, you see all the stuff. Jamie got stuff out, didn't he? What was that, Hula Girl, or, the electronic toys. And
the animatronic dancing penguin?
Yeah. I thought that was going to be our special guest.
Yes.
we'll bring that out maybe next week.
That's really obnoxious. Yeah, obnoxious, I mean.
Well, for Eve, it was terrifying. It was
it's terrifying for me, Jamie. And the most terrifying thing about it, it's so easy to turn on, but you can't turn it off.
No, you can.
You can? Oh, show me the secret, please. Aside from a sledgehammer.
Yeah. But yes, in the Essential Puppy training course, Eve been introducing her to all sorts of different things, and none of them had fazed her. She'd seen, leaf blowers and heavy equipment, and we actually took her to Home Depot around Halloween, so she saw like an 8-foot tall robotic skeleton statue.
Yeah,
wasn't bothered by that.
Yeah.
But this little dancing penguin, I do have it in the other room. Should I bring it out?
Could bring in the penguin.
I think you probably should. Yeah, it's scary.
People need.
But you've frozen, Jamie.
Which course we're talking about? We do have a lot of courses, and that's what is so great. This Ian's whole brain is getting downloaded onto the Dunbar Academy. We have tons of courses, but we also have a brand new course, which is called the Essential Puppy Training course that Jamie and I just completed with Eve as the star, and it's puppy kindergarten and puppy one, kind of serious puppy training style, but for at home. For doing at home. It's on demand. It's we have little video clips, lots of demonstrations, lots of handouts and tests, and not a lot of tests, but some quizzes you can do and some handouts. And it's meant to be something that you can fully do at home if you don't have access to a serious puppy training class, or to go in conjunction with your serious puppy training class with our wonderful instructors in the Bay Area. So that's the course that we're talking about today, at this moment anyway. We may change what we're talking about at some point.
Kelly, I would like to do a quick survey if people could just very quickly type. When I'm looking at this, Kelly's the only one who's moving. Jamie's frozen. I'm frozen. The difference being Jamie looks so damn handsome, and I look like a total dork.
I think that's your connection.
Just type who's frozen. Put J frozen, K live, I frozen. Very quickly. Do I look frozen to you? Because I'm frozen to me, and Jamie's frozen to me. Everyone is moving. Oh, I have to be careful then.
Yeah,
okay.
no, everyone's moving.
Cheers.
No one's frozen. None of you are frozen to me. Let's see. You could add 1 minute clips to your puppy videos to a TikTok, Jamie.
That is
yes, no, we plan on.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Now
No. That's good feedback.
Questions.
Okay, good. I'll be careful what I do then.
It's in your mind, Ian.
No, it's on my screen. It's on my screen.
Owen is frozen.
Okay. Here's a good one. Here's a good question. Before we
penguin. We have been basically the past few months we've been working fully, or at least Kelly and I have been concentrating on making the new puppy course. But now the new puppy course is complete. We are going to be all about promoting the new puppy course. So TikTok, here we come.
It's TikTok time.
You guys ready to meet the penguin? The penguin that terrified Eve. Is Eve there? Can we see if she's still afraid of it?
She likes that sound now, I think.
Also, I don't think it's quite as scary.
Yeah, you play it, she's going to probably look at it, is my guess.
Okay, here you go. Ready?
Yeah.
And look.
She likes it now.
You can turn it off as well.
Do it again, Jamie. Do it again. Her little head was cocking.
Oh yeah, she's checking it out.
She's tilting her head in rhythm.
She's looking behind the computer. The penguin.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, the first time we turned that on, it definitely startled her, and she immediately developed a bit of a phobia towards the penguin, but also towards, like, it was very interesting to see. We didn't do it on purpose, but it's very interesting to see she didn't become just scared of the penguin, but she also became scared of other plush toys that she'd been playing with, and the table that the penguin was on. So you could really just on camera see that fear generalize and persist.
Well, not only that, but she was for a moment there, she was afraid of the table that the penguin was on.
Right.
When this happened, which obviously she'd been fine with the end table prior to that.
Oh, I like this. Yes, Emily, that's the right idea.
We have a lot of questions here. Do we prefer harness over leash as far as dogs' necks? Harness over leash is it's kind of a. I like having a collar. You need a leash either way, harness or a collar, I guess, and then you always have a leash. The collar, I'm one for safety. I've heard of plenty of accidents and dogs getting lost, and whether it's a car accident or a house fire or a robbery or just puppy running away frightened, maybe from an electronic penguin and the door's open. I like to have collars with ID on, flat collars with ID on all the time. I walk my dogs on collars most of the time. Villa, as the other little dog, is an exception. She needs a harness because she's a really, really bad puller, and I'm still working on that with her. But even from a tiny puppy, she was a puller, and she had such a little tiny delicate neck. I was worried about that. Harnesses that are back clip tend to encourage pulling. And leashes not so much, although they can be damaging if a puppy is pulling a lot. My answer really is, it won't matter once your dog is taught to walk politely next to you, on leash or off. So that's the goal. And the earlier you start that, the less of a problem it is. And the more you practice it, even if it's just a little bit every day, just the following exercises and the hand targeting exercises and kind of going back and forth like a duck in a shooting gallery, you're making your puppy find you and find heel. The less likely you're going to have a problem, and it won't really matter what kind of equipment you are using. But every situation is different. I just find that harnesses tend to not only teach dogs to pull more, because harnesses with the back clip, that's what they do. Harnesses were designed for pulling, right? For sled dogs.
I used harnesses with my Malamutes. Yeah, right? We had harnesses to pull us on skis.
right? I mean, it's a working pulling harness. And in my protection sport work, we use that for bite work. Like that means go pull. It means it's time to pull. Yeah. And it becomes it becomes a real problem especially if you have a large breed puppy that then learns to pull in a harness, because it wasn't such a big deal when they were little, and now they're 70, 80, 90 pounds. I feel people are more honest with their leash walking skills if they're on a leash. Now, the front clip harnesses can be a benefit for some. I find that I would use those maybe for some large breeds or medium large breeds that are already pulling, not so much for training a dog not to pull, because they can be restrictive. A lot of them are too restrictive and weird with the shoulders, and it's a tool. Anything can be used or abused properly, but collar for ID for safety is my go-to. Preferably something strong but breakable like leather. And I say as I have a biothane collar on her right now, but and then teaching your dog just to walk politely. Don't ignore that. That's something you have to start right away, and you will be working on all through their first year of their life, most likely, as they go through all their different developmental stages. So,
yeah, I think it all depends what you need it for. If it's to carry the dog's tags, I like a collar vest. If it's to walk a trained dog, I prefer a leather collar vest. If it's, though, to solve a behavior problem, I would say then work with your dog off leash at home, in your yard, in other fenced areas, and so that you fasten the leash to a trained dog before you go outside. Owners do this back to front, though. The dog's off leash indoors, often creating havoc. Then they put him on leash and take him outside for his first walk, and they come back with a dog that pulls. So you've got to walk a trained dog. And it's amazing how many presentations. I hate getting back to the summit again, Jamie. I know you like promoting Essential Puppy course, but in the summit, I think there were 5 separate presentations dealing with what you can do to train the dog at home before you go out for walks and parks. So I like off-leash training, so it really doesn't matter how they're fastened.
Yeah, I really I do almost everything, even with a lot of the protection work that I do. I do, well, not the bite work stuff when I'm with other people, but a lot of this just off leash. It keeps you honest, right? You taught me this.
Oh, yeah.
You
solve the problem. It alerts you to the problem right away. First week in puppy class, my pup's not with me, he's with the other 11 pups. So first week in class, you start to develop off-leash skills. And I think my big objection to on-leash training is the leash becomes a crutch, and so people don't address the problems they have. And I think proximity problems, whether the dog's close to you or far away, quickly turn into relationship problems.
Yep.
And so I like for you to prove, that the dog wants to approach you and stay close to you, because that's part of the relationship. So train off leash, but do it at home first.
Right? It's a litmus test. Is the dog there by choice? And are you paying attention? Too many people, it's not only a crutch for training, but you don't have to pay attention. Neither of you have to pay attention when you're tied together. You can be on your phone and ignoring your dog on their harness while they're pulling and not so big, and the dog is ignoring you and very comfortable with the idea that you're still there with them.
And that actually does a number of bad things to training. One, when you're walking your dog, he doesn't need to pay attention to you, because if he tightens the leash, he's got a telegraph wire that informs him of your every intention. And there was another point, but it's gone straight out of my head. Why? Because it's Friday and it's Modelo time.
Look, now we have another sweet comment from Sherry. I still promote the before and after you get your puppy to my customers. It has helped me work with and develop some wonderful companion dogs, and most currently our self-trained assistance dog who began training in a COVID unsocial world. Appreciate all your teachings. Oh, thank you, Sherry. That's so sweet. Yeah.
I don't know where you're reading from. I can't see that at all.
It's long past at this point.
There's so much to read that you've got
No,
stuff.
I know it's hard to keep up with everybody here.
Oh, there it is. Oh, lovely. Hey, thank you, Sherry. All right, way to go.
Oh, so Jenny here says we saw Ian speak at least 20 or more years ago. You hadn't changed a bit.
I'm not that old.
And Kendra is saying TikTok, please. Yeah, we need to get on the TikTok.
Yeah. Well, now
Anne says, have another drink,
too.
Ian.
What?
Is it time? Do you even have a beer with you? Do you have a beer?
Do I have a beer? No.
Yeah.
You just said Modelo time moments ago.
No, we did.
I've got to get you both the koozies.
It's nearly gone. I need another one. What's the time? Oh yeah. I actually am really celebrating tonight too. You two are celebrating because you finished your job with the Essential Puppy Training course, Kelly. Jamie's almost finished, so that's cool.
Yeah, Kelly finished her work long ago, and me and Jess have been editing. Well, no,
I wouldn't say I finished my work. I mean, because I'm still editing. I still have to, but I did finish the meat and potatoes of it. It's true. But you guys have worked. Actually, you've had to work the whole time because you helped develop all the writing. You did all the scripts. Then you were you played many roles in the actual filming, from second cameraman to stage manager to Kelly Wrangler to Meltdown.
To the host.
Buffer.
Right. Emotional support.
You're getting lulled by Kelly's dulcet tones, and then all of a sudden Jamie appears. Hi, I'm Jamie Dunbar. and you, whoa, what's going on now? But it wakes you up every 90 minutes.
Well, Laura, the new Essential Puppy Training course has lots of off-leash training info. It is intended for puppies, but if your dog is friendly and doesn't have reactivity problems and aggression problems, then a lot of those same exercises will work for you.
Yeah, I mean, the Dunbar Academy has a lot of off-leash stuff, but this particular course is starting fresh puppies and trying to get them on the right track from the beginning. I mean, the techniques will work to a degree with a dog that's older, of course. It's the same kind of principles, but you're going to be dealing with a reinforcement history, like for something like pulling already, and it will take longer, and you probably need to do a few things differently as well. We hope to have an adolescent adult course someday as well.
Okay, I do have a question that someone sent me earlier today that I thought would be good to chat about. I'll put it up here now. It is.
Jacqueline said she's an affiliate, so that's exciting too.
Any suggestions on teaching bite inhibition to a puppy that doesn't play bite?
Loads. I mean, it's an emergency. You've got to get him, put his teeth on you. It's kind of like then training a bite inhibition to a cat. Like we have a kitten at the moment, and I'm encouraging it to take hold of my hand and just bite and nibble. We've got to give it feedback, so it knows that mouthing's okay, but biting is not. So if it doesn't bite, you can't do that. And so you want to play little things like this with your finger, waggle it, get some little toys, move them around, try and play tug, then put your finger in his mouth. But you've got to do it. And it takes you being slow and empathic and cute and funny and pretending your finger's a little mouse and pulling it away from the dog, stuff like this. But yeah, a non-biting puppy, we've just got to get them to bite us. Otherwise, you can't give feedback that your jaws hurt. And
it is important.
I mean, it is common in some breeds. A lot of the Asian breeds don't like to bite much. So get them into puppy class that has a Labrador or Pit in it. And then their Akita or Shiba will soon learn to play bite with them. And then after class, they think, well, where are my playmates gone? Then they may start playing with you. So it is common with Chow Chows, another breed that often don't bite when they play. And I know, as I mentioned these breeds, people are saying, oh, my Chow Chow was a maniac, nearly destroyed me.
And just trying to get them to play tug. Some puppies, we screw up tug a lot when we try to teach puppies, especially a puppy that maybe isn't so prone to do it naturally, by shoving toys in their mouth. Get it. What do you do when someone flips something at you? You pull away, even if it's something you like, right? Like, I love pizza, but if someone goes, here, have some, you don't just go, you away so you can grab it at your own pace. And if, and when you're playing tug, you're working with the predatory sequence a bit, right? So you have something to move away so the puppy can chase, because a lot of puppies who don't like to tug will chase. And once you get them chasing, you'll get maybe a pounce. And then once you get a pounce, You can get some wiggly movement, like the rabbit's been caught and they're wiggling, and they may eventually learn to grab. And there are a ton of fun tug toys right now. I think sometimes the tug toy is too big and too thick for a lot of these puppies, especially if they're not already prone to biting and tugging as a natural thing for them, based on either their breed or their personality. We use an Eve's favorite toy and Daisy's from your series on YouTube was the carcass. You know, the stuffy toys that have no stuffing. And some of them have squeaks. Actually, maybe they all have squeaks, and you just remove them.
I did squeakectomies on them.
Squeakectomies, but you know,
crinkly ones. Right? Crinkly ones are good. And think what puppies chew on: shoelaces. So a lot of cat toys are ideal to get a puppy to start, but you pull it away from you and wiggle it. And if you think, I'm going to get another beer, guys, please explain to the audience this is not my normal way, but this is Friday. We both have things to celebrate. I'm a happy puppy tonight, so I'm going to run downstairs and
go get one.
Not a Modelo, but a Sapporo.
I'm going to hide your screen while you're gone.
Sapporo time. Not Suntory time, though, is it?
I'm hiding your screen while you're gone.
How will you know when he's back?
I wonder, does anyone know about a carcass that doesn't have a squeaker, but instead has crinkly stuff inside? That would be ideal.
They have the crinkly toys, but I think they always have fluff in them. Somebody needs to make a carcass because that plasticky crinkle, like that cellophane kind of sound. Oh my goodness, they love it. And yeah, that would be awesome. But they also have tug toys something flatter and smaller. But still mushy. Like you get changed textures if your dog isn't into tucking with what you've got for them. Often we've gotten, again, something too big or too thick, or the rope toys are too much for them. They kind of like that fleecy stuff too, the woven fleece. There are tug toys now that are like carcasses, Jamie. I don't think you've seen this. That have a Velcro zipping pouch in them where you can put food. You can have food. Or a squeaker, I suppose, but food. Eva's here, crashed out, and she's look at her. She's like,
the idea being that they smell the food?
Yeah, well, they can smell the food, and then you can open it at any moment. You can zip it open as soon as they grab it and dump the food.
Wow, so it's really like
Kendra, well, that's a smart idea.
Carcass. You could zip it open and put some entrails in there.
Oh, Sue, who's one of our serious puppy
I'm back.
Says they do make crinkle carcasses. Sue, I didn't know that. And Kendra said you need not do a whole squeakectomy when you can poke a hole into the plastic squeaker. Oh, you have a kitty. You came back with a kitty.
Well, I can't see if she's on the screen because I'm frozen.
She is, but you're not frozen. She was on the screen, but she's not.
I'm frozen to me. Yeah. Say hi, kitty.
Is her name Sapporo? Because you said you were coming back with a Sapporo.
That's it. Sapporo the kitty. No, it's Mousy. I changed my mind.
Her name is Mousy?
I went for a Shinerbok.
Her name is Mousy?
Mousy. It's him, actually. But we call him here. It's a trans cat. So I kept calling him her.
What knows?
He's a he.
Yeah. When does the puppy course launch, Jamie? It is kind of launched in a way. Do you want to explain that? As he's asking.
Yes, so the puppy course is kind of available in early access now, where it's currently only available to members of the Top Dog Academy. There's a link down at the bottom of this video where you can sign up for the Top Dog Academy. And there are 5 stages in the puppy training course, and 4 of them are currently available. The plan is, once we've got the 5th one up, which should be in the next week or probably 2, then we will make the course available to purchase as a standalone course. But right now you can get it for just $20 a month in the Top Dog Academy, which is, pretty unbeatable deal. Before we did this course, we did a little research to see what else was out there. And the other comparable things were all, multiple hundreds of dollars. So it's a rare opportunity to get in early. So yeah, it is available now.
Yeah. Okay. So come on in. Leslie doesn't want to come in. I asked Leslie to come and get Eve because she's bored with this. So
hello, Eve.
Bye to Eve.
I should go get Mel again. She loves dogs. Does Eve love cats?
She doesn't really know that many cats. I used to have Eve. I used to know a lot of cats, including my own, obviously, that the puppies could be introduced to. Laurel's cats, and nobody I know has cats right now. Not around me anyway. So she hasn't been really around cats, but she's been around horses and goats and ducks and chickens, because we have all of those right here next door, and lots of other dogs and deer. I guess she's seen deer too. I don't know. Yeah, and maybe even, well, obviously birds in the world, but I also have some friends with pet birds. Okay, let's see.
I would say if we're coming to the end of our happy hour, but if there's any more puppy training questions out there,
no, we're not. I'm really
chewing. Yeah, if you have a hardcore chewer, a 17-pound Aussie Doodle, one of the most aggressive chewers I've ever seen, chews on through everything and anything I've found. Some in shreds. Some dogs love to shred and dissect and scissor things with their back feet. They scissor with their back feet. Yeah, have more wine. They scissor with their back teeth, and they're just not meant for soft toys. I mean, you find the substrate that works best for your dog. I have a lot of dogs here, much to Ian's chagrin, that aren't good with soft toys, and I don't leave them with soft toys, even if I do use them for tug and stuff. Anyway, we use a lot of rubber toys here, and for the first, I mean, we don't really promote. I guess we kind of promote specific products, and all unsolicited and for free. But I've never been a fan of like unnatural bones. I never liked like the nylon bone products so much. But my dogs love the Benny bones, like they are made of crack.
Yeah, here too.
And it's a Gesundheit, Jamie. It's a similar thing, but it isn't the same thing. And it's something about the way they infuse the plastic, if it is plastic or whatever the heck it's made of. And you do have to watch them and get rid of them when they start to degrade. But they are like crack here, and nobody can destroy them. The Rottweiler that I acquired, I guess is part of the family now, is a destructive chewer. He loves to destroy, just like Ivan. Remember, Ian, didn't Ivan love to destroy things? Was his favorite to chew things to shreds?
Yeah. Frogs were his crack, though.
Oh, he'd crack things and like plastic things.
No, I mean, I said frogs were his crack.
Oh, well, actual live toads, but he didn't destroy those. He would gently
he cut them in his mouth and talk like this, Yeah.
It's a very limited thing. Leslie's nicely bringing me a little wine.
I really like gorilla bones, which are not bones, they're made out of wood. I find they're good. They will produce a bit of sawdust, so, but they're very good for dogs which are going to destroy something, because this will be a slow process and you just sweep up the chips and dust. It doesn't chip or splinter, it just like powder.
It's kind of, it crumbles. They have a couple of companies that make those now that are nice.
But it's a hardwood, and I like those a lot. And what's that blue squishy ball? The
Snoop. Anything it's like a silicone type thing.
I love the Snoop. Right? For really big chewers, often they just can't puncture it. It just gives.
Yeah, Hundi destroyed a couple Snoops. The Ronnie.
Then I wouldn't do it. I mean, if the dog's destroying it, you've got to watch.
Yeah, of course. And he likes to. The good thing about him is he doesn't really ingest. He tears something up. The bad thing is it's an expensive hobby for him. But I don't.
But I think the key here is to train. Like Kelly has got a lot of rubber toys here. Where I am now, we use a lot of rubber toys because we train the dog. The whole point of this is to get food out of it. It's not to destroy the toy. So we give them the stuffed Kongs, we monitor them, and when it's empty, we take it away. So they don't develop the habit of destroying a Kong. And anyway, imagine, put yourself in your dog's shoes if you saw a Kong for the first time. I mean, you're going to think, what's this, a shock absorber or, a sexual aid or what is it?
There still are some dogs that love that destruction so much, but it's true. If you put something pasty that they can lick in there, or something that's so easy to get out that they start nosing it, you want to get them away from the habit of just going, But the Kong stuffing is really, honestly, the best thing you ever came up with in your life, Ian.
It increases the Kong lifespan. Yeah, and also.
Can you do something for me again, Ian? Judy, or for Judy, maybe? I missed it because I looked down at the time. What did Ivan look like with the toad in his mouth?
This is really weird. Okay, I will definitely do it. But all three of us are frozen on my screen now. So you have to talk me through this. Kelly, talk me through this. Am I centered? I can't see because I'm frozen. I'm
most
centered.
part, yeah.
All right.
Maybe not exact.
Yeah, Isaac would come walking in from the garden. Ivan, and he'd like this, and so Kelly would say, "Ivan, what have you got?" And he'd go, "Nothing." Say, open your mouth, and a little toad would jump out. So totally unhelpful.
He had a lot of soft mouth retrieval work when he was really young, because I was taking a long dog trainer's course when he was young, and I mean he could retrieve a light bulb. He could retrieve eggs. So the toads, he just, for whatever reason, he liked to pick up toads. He liked to hide things in his mouth and trick me, right? He was also the era of the big scrunchies. So he would find a scrunchie either in someone's hair. He would take them out of my mom's hair, or he'd find it on the counter or on the floor or wherever. And he'd put a scrunchie in his mouth, but he'd kind of shove it way back in his throat. And then he'd come in like this, looking around, and you'd be like, same thing. What do you have? He'd be like, no.
I can only hear it. I can't see it, but I think you do a better demonstration than I do.
Like, open his mouth and you wouldn't see anything right away because he'd have shoved it way back in his throat with the scrunchie. He'd be like, Ivan, what do you have? He'd peek in, he'd see nothing, and you'd know this. Ivan, drop it. And he'd have to go and like spit it up, and it was slimy and nasty and not something you'd want to put in your hair.
Oh yeah, the thought of this toad sitting on top of his larynx. Oh, it's scary.
Well, I don't know if he shoved the toads far back or not, but he definitely did that with scrunchies. But with the toads, trying to keep his mouth completely closed and just pretend he didn't have anything. He was a silly guy. That was my Roddy.
I was going to answer a question from way back, Leslie Vicus, if you're still here. Where can I find resources for off-leash training? Anything that we've done, wherever it is, Sirius or Dunbar Academy and the Essential Puppy Course. But you don't need resources. Your puppy's off-leash at home, right? You call him, come, sit, and then you go down, sit, stand, down, sit. You do some more. Then you walk around the room, get him to follow you. And then you get him to heel, sit, heel, sit. You don't need resources.
Dad, the people need resources. They need resources.
Oh, Jamie, he's the perpetual
resources. Just go.
You don't need anyone to tell you what to do.
You need resources. You need them now. Yep, you need the Essential Puppy Training course. Is that better, Jamie?
Yeah, there you go. Well done. Well done.
Hi, Eric.
And when you've done with that,
we'll get you some media training.
Academy. Yeah.
Media training. This one needs media training, like from that movie.
I've never been a great promoter. Ivan the Terrible. No, Ivan the Sweetie.
This is actually something I'd like to hear you guys weigh in on. I frequently get questions from our members, worried that their dog isn't food motivated. What do you say about a 5-month-old puppy who's they're having trouble getting interested in food?
Well, I mean, this question is one of the questions that cracks me up, because if you ask the dog trainer about anything else the dog didn't like, well, he doesn't like men in hats, he doesn't like other dogs, he doesn't like getting in the car, they would say, oh, we have to desensitize him and classically conditioning it. And so I say, do the same with food. Here's the deal. I'm going to hand feed you kibble, and one piece at a time, I'm going to say, sit, off, take it. And if you take the kibble, I'll say on the couch, you'll throw a tennis ball, we'll give you a tummy rub. If you don't take it, I put it back in the bag and we'll wait for 10 minutes. But it's the only way you're going to get food. It takes one day. Before you know it now, the dog's eating it all from your hands, and now you can feed him in a bowl. So it's like anything that a dog doesn't like. You train the dog to like it. And I like, as you know, what we do is we actually train kibble to be a mega secondary reinforcer. So come, sit, kibble, and then everything good in the dog's life could possibly happen. Off leash, go play, go sniff, go run with another dog, go fetch, let's play tug on the couch, tummy rubs. But it's come, sit, kibble. So kibble now is the biggest secondary reinforcer in the world, 1,000,000 times more powerful than the click, because that's only followed by a treat.
And you're so good at that, Ian, and I think people underestimate the power of that. I mean, I don't think they underestimate the power of it. I think they don't understand they can do that, and that if you stick with it, it really works. And
oh, yeah.
That, you have gotten some pretty hardcore adolescent dogs, and some dogs with some problems to really change their tune by turning kibble into a secondary. But of course, the very first thing you would do is obviously hand feed only. I don't know if you're doing that. I can't remember who asked this question, but it's a question a lot of people have. If you're hand feeding, you're bringing relationship into every meal, and that's another way you can classically condition the food to be more fun and interesting. And you can play chase games with the food, and you can do a whole bunch of fun things with the food, and make sure you're not overfeeding. Maybe I don't want to change foods over and over because you can really create a pickiness problem. But some dogs don't like certain kibbles or certain types of meat, and maybe play around a little bit and find a hierarchy of 3 things that they really enjoy, and then use it for chase games and do the classical conditioning exercises and do the pre-mac exercises Ian's talking about. But anyway, Ian, that's a brilliant idea. I don't know that I definitely never heard it before you said it. I've seen some other people now doing it. I'm guessing maybe they got that from you. But it takes a minute sometimes, right? It's not perfect at first.
No, it takes a little while, and you wait, or the dog doesn't eat. Okay, don't eat. But this is how you're going to eat. Kibble from my hand. But it actually gets much better than this. You see, if you do come, sit, kibble, and then the amazing things, the kibble becomes the secondary, but then what predicts kibble's coming? You sit. Now the actual response becomes a tertiary reinforcer, a mega tertiary, because it's predicting kibble, which predicts all the good things in life. So now we've turned the response into its own reinforcer, which to me is the holy grail of dog training. Once you've done that, you don't need food, you don't need praise, you don't need anything, because doing it is sufficient fun. So no, this whole mega secondary thing it's so huge. But as I think Jacqueline Carr came up with a comment, people will say, tried that, didn't work. No, you haven't, because dogs don't lie. And behavior never lies.
Or you tried it once and you gave up. People get really weird around food. They're afraid the dog's going to starve. We can go into that in a minute. Yeah. But no. Puppies, Ponies, and Patriots. I love the name of that organization. And how do you accomplish hand feeding with giant dogs? Hand feeding doesn't have to be piece by piece. It can be, especially if you have a dog as small as Eve, it needs to be. But you can do handfuls. Also, if you have a busy day at the shelter, we would do handfuls at the end of the day for the big dogs, but it's coming from your hand. Or a food stuffed toy doesn't need to be always one Kong that's pasty and only has half a cup of kibble in it. Use puzzle toys, use Buster cubes, use roly-poly snoops, and you can put a whole bunch of food into one of those toys if necessary. If you're trying to get 6 cups of food or something into a dog a day. You can also go to a more dense kibble where you don't need as much. The higher quality, the higher protein, the higher fat the kibble, not based on whatever your dog needs, the less kibble there is. So some brands you need 6 to 8 cups for a 100-pound dog. Others you only need 4. So you can look at that as well. There's a body comment I want to get to at some point, but we were talking hand feeding and trying that for real, which means, if a dog turns up their nose right the first couple times, Ian, or isn't interested right away, I think people get discouraged. But you don't want to starve a dog, but you also need to sometimes get the motivation going. Where would you draw that line?
Years and years ago, when holistic medicine hit the veterinary scene, I was kind of interested. So I went to see this holistic vet in Chicago, and I asked whether I could, your town. I asked whether I could sit in on his cases in the morning. And I saw 4 dogs, 2 cats, and a parrot. And his advice for every animal is don't feed them for a week. And afterwards I said, for a week? He said, oh yeah, that's not unusual in the wild, especially for dogs and cats. They maybe nibble a root here and there or a bit of grass, but they haven't had a kill in a while, so they haven't eaten. And I thought, you're right, we don't have, 5 o'clock every day in the wild, going to kill a rabbit. What are you going to have for dinner tomorrow? Oh, I don't know. I may go for pheasant or hare, And so we get really weirded out when, like, we put down a bowl of food, and here's the cat's advice to the dog. The cat, because cats are such great people trainers, it says to the dog, when they put down your food, I bet you eat it, right? And the dog says, yeah. He says, well, don't. What I want you to do, try this out. When they put down a bowl of food, I want you to sniff it and then sigh, turn away and lie down. You won't believe what will happen. What will happen? Oh, you'll get steak and gravy on your dry kibble. I mean, people can't stand it when a dog doesn't eat, but the point is, it won't starve if it doesn't eat food for a week. It requires water every day, several times a day, but the food, that's not unusual in the wild. So, people get very upset by it.
I mean, we obviously we want them to starve, and depending on the dog's health and age and all that, you have to take that into consideration. But I think sticking with it for a few days definitely makes sense, and being a little more creative. And so
and you see, it's all about the relationship. The key words I'm hearing in training these days are focus, engagement, relationship. And if you hand feed, whether one piece at a time, 10 pieces, or, your hands like this, we feed dogs in bowls here twice a day, plus a lot of food reserved for training. But often when I bowl feed them, I will scoop it out and they eat it from my hand, and it only takes them a minute and a half. But then they think I'm the greatest guy in the world, which makes everything easier. And so I don't get frustrated with the dog, because nothing damages a relationship more is when you ask your dog to do something, come or sit, and it doesn't. Then you get all, pissy, and it goes down the toilet so fast you can't believe it. So making this bond, and the food is the easiest way to do it if you don't have good affect or you don't have doggy savvy. Food,
or even if you do, it's fast, simple. Right?
Yeah, it's fast, and it works.
And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? If you're going to feed them anyway.
The resistance is enormous. I've asked that question now for 50 years. Then why wouldn't people use food in training first? Because remember, before 82, no one used food in training until serious. But then once they were using food in training, I talked about hand feeding, and people they wouldn't do it. The number of objections to it was enormous. And that's where, and as you know, I just want to say that when you started Open Paw, we wanted to use food in training. And so, we had food containers on the outside of the kennel, but shelters wouldn't do it. So at our second conference, Open Paw conference, I gave a talk entitled Yes, But. Because I have limited patience for people that don't see common sense and the good of following instructions, that have worked for me for years. And they would not use food in training at shelters, and they would not take the dogs out to pee. And so I gave this yes, but, all the criticisms for following these instructions. And after the conference, Kelly said, right, that's the last time you talk about this. Why? Because I told them what I thought. I mean, why are you getting on my case, giving me all these reasons why it won't work when it's worked for me for ages, and it's worked for every dog I know?
In my defense, it was more your tone than the message. I think the sarcasm was too much truth.
No. You don't have to defend yourself, Kelly. No, I was sarcastic because I'm English. Then I got a little over the top. And when I get involved in a topic when the dog's welfare is concerned, my face turns into that of like an axe murderer. I can't help it, but that's, and then people think, oh, he's angry. No, I'm not angry. I just can't understand why you won't follow this simple piece of advice, which to me is a nugget of gold in terms of how many dogs it's saved and the quality of life of the dogs that it's improved.
We just need to turn the axe murderer vibe down a little. If you're at an 11, we need you at like a 6.
Tracy says, Ian, to Ian, I think you're the greatest guy in the world, even without eating food from your hand.
Thank you. Yeah, but not all dogs or cats or pigs or cows think that. So as a vet, always hand-fed them.
Yeah, no, you have to make sure that they see the relevance of your presence, I guess, initially.
Just because I happen to be.
The trust.
Yeah, what did Jamie you said about me once? You said when I was honking and screaming at someone on the road, driving when I was taking you to school, and you said, calm, compassionate, and understanding. That's my dad. Yeah, even though we know that's how I am.
In the family, obviously.
Other animals may not.
Pretty sure patient was one of them. I'm pretty sure patient was in that list.
Patient.
Yeah.
And he's pointing out that, his intact Staffy Nemo, who was such a cutie, I remember Nemo, wouldn't eat for 7 days when there was a female in heat around. So on his own, by choice, and he survived, so they can definitely.
Yeah, he wanted to come down to his fighting weight.
And Kendra says that Topples can hold, is it 8 or 6? I can't read that. Ounces of raw? That's a lot. 8 ounces, yeah. Wow. Okay, good to know.
What's that?
Have either of you tried a West Paw Topple before?
Yeah, Topples are cool. I feel like we have one somewhere, and it's one of our.
Yeah, that's a lot of food.
Somewhere. Yeah, they're just kind of like almost like an open cup.
It's all started.
It's like silicone rubber. It's kind of like, it's not as rubbery as a Kong, but it's not as silicone as a Snoop.
Right, it looks like it's similar to the Planet Dog Snoop material.
Yeah, but more rubbery. It's interesting. I mean, not quite as slippery as that, but yeah, those are cool too, and they have like these big open kind of holes that you can fill. Yeah. So I don't know. It's Friday.
Here's a nice one here. Bridget Harrington.
But I think this is going to be our last one. Leave the people wanting more.
Yuka says Topples are better than Kongs. Yeah, they do hold more food, don't they? I guess it depends on what you're looking to do. If you want that linking action or the bouncing action.
The Shih Tzu say. The point is, it doesn't matter how difficult it is now, Bridget, how scared you are. If you want to walk your dog on leash at some date in the future, you can't have your dog being scared of other dogs, because then it will put out weird, scary signs, which is like a red flag on top of it, and it becomes dog bait. In one session, as long as you're in a class that's off leash and has places for your dog, your puppy to hide, like under chairs, and as long as the dogs are between 3 months and 4.5 months, no harm will come to your little Shih Tzu. In fact, it will probably become the bully in the class. Once it happens, you say thank you to the owners of all the big dogs for giving confidence to my little dog, because he won't put out scared vibes now. He won't be a target. At the same time, you ask the big dog owners to say thank you to you for letting your Shih Tzu run with the pack, so they know that their dog is safe with little dogs, because that's the biggest fear of anyone with a big dog. Will it look on a little dog as just...
Oh, they try and squish him. Squish him.
And to give you the paws, they have to have somewhere to hide. They get squished. But let's answer it this way. We've been teaching puppy classes for 40 years this year. I have never had one dog injure another in class to the point it had to go to the vet clinic. I've had people injure dogs 3 times.
Really? We've had a lot of people injure themselves. Yeah. That's the biggest problem. People tripping.
We also had someone die in class, which was pretty horrible. But luckily,
way to end on a great note.
Oh no, we're not,
guys.
You know what? As his wife said to me afterwards, he had a really good life. He wasn't feeling well today, but the one thing he wanted to do was come to puppy class. He died happy, and I thought, wow. And that's right after he died, at the end of class, when we realized he wasn't waking up. So I think that's the point where we could toast in the spirit of our Friday celebrating things. Let's all celebrate the fact we're all here.
And doing what we love.
Doing what we love.
With the people we care about.
You got it, the people that we care about. Oh, Jamie, you're so wonderful.
Thank you to everyone who came and joined us today.
Have I told you both that I love you both lately?
Oh, yes. And we do an email. We say that a lot, actually. But we do.
Yeah.
We love you too.
Guys, thank you for listening to us.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Good to see
Jamie
you.
and Kelly, thank you as always.
Hi, everybody. Eddie, thank you. Cheers.
We're going to be doing a lot more fun stuff in 2022. So we'll see you again soon.
Oh, yeah. Fun stuff you won't believe. We are back. We are up and running.
Bye.
Bye.